Do you know that it took Evangelist Reinhard Bonnke 9 solid years before he was able to penetrate into Nigeria to preach the gospel, both him and his team? I know you would love to hear the price he paid for him to be able to preach Christ Crucified in Nigeria, West Africa.
1990, we were in the city of Kano, the Muslim city of Kano in Nigeria. Before I ever set foot on our platform, Rob Bukbek and Vanessa both were there. Before I set foot on my platform, resistance built up. I said, Rob came to me and said, you know, there's smoke rising in the city. He said, come on the roof, there's smoke rising everywhere. Those fanatical people, some fanatical people I should say, didn't want our crusade gospel campaign to happen at all, and they were out to kill us, and me especially. And anyway, we were rescued, and the Lord did all things well. None of us was hurt. But for 9 years I was not allowed to enter Nigeria. For 9 long years we prayed, we fasted and prayed and cried to God, open Nigeria again. I tried every avenue to get the visa. I couldn't get the visa. I was persona non grata. But you know, when one door is closed, we don't sit in front of that door and weep hot tears. Because if one is closed, 1,000 others are open. And after all, Jesus said, go into all the world, isn't it? So we went to another country and many other countries. We came to the country of Benin, French-speaking Benin. I was there in the city of Cotonou in the Sheraton Hotel that afternoon when suddenly the phone rang and somebody said to me, the former president of this country would like to meet you, Mathieu Kerikou. I said, it's impossible. I've never met him, but I read about him. He is a communist, he is an atheist, declared atheist, and I'm a hot evangelist. No, he's asking to meet you, please. I said, I'm coming. I put my New Testament into my pocket. Peter Vandenberg and we went to his house. When I arrived there, he was outside to greet us, and he said to me, Reverend Bonnke, I saw your videos, and when I heard that you are in the country, I decided to call you because I want to get saved properly. What? I never heard anybody say he wanted to get saved properly. So we went into the house, I took my New Testament out, and I started to preach the gospel properly. And when I came out about 1 or 2 hours later, Jesus had saved him and his wife properly. It was amazing. But he was an ex-president. I said to Peter, what a pity, he is an ex. A year later, I come back to West Africa, to Benin. At the airport, I have a reception. Unbelievable reception. Red carpet for the first time. A red carpet, and there was the evening news of national television. There was a Mercedes limousine waiting for me with police outriders on 4 motorbikes. The president had sent his own car, and then I heard the X is no more X, he's back in power. They drove me straight to the palace, and there he was, shining like the sun, a truly born-again man. And he said to me, have you brought application papers for me? I said, for what? He said, I want to join your Christ for All Nations team. I said, Your Excellency, your application is denied. The hand of God has lifted you into this position, and my prayer for you is that you are now in your mission field the best president this country has ever had. But I said, I have heard that you are a very good friend with the president of Nigeria. He said, yes, yes, we are like twins. And then I told him my story. He said, I think I can fix it. I'll tell you how God fixed it. I couldn't get a visa for Nigeria, but the president of Nigeria sent his private jet to Benin to pick me up. And when we were streaking into the sky, the stewardess said, Reverend Bonnke, welcome to Nigeria. I thought, oh my God, without a visa. Hallelujah! You know, it struck me so forcefully. The Great Commission is our visa, entry visa into every nation of the world, because they belong to God and to nobody else. I arrived in Abuja, the capital city. The president put me up there in the presidential suite. Fabulous. I'd never been in such a luxury suite. At the main bed was a big red button. Thank God I don't press red buttons. But I see how afraid these people are. And then they sent a huge stretched limousine to take me to the palace. When I arrived there, I was ushered into that hall where the head of state was sitting. He chased everybody out. He wanted to be alone with a man of God. I said, please allow my two brothers to be with me here as well. I was prayed up. I tell you, I was prayed up. Man, I was prayed up. I wanted the visa before I was now. And I told him the whole story. I said, I would love to come back to your country because I must preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. I have never incited people against any religion. I just preach Christ crucified and risen from the dead. I said, you can send observers to tell you whether I am insulting others. I don't. Because you don't fight darkness with fists. You just strike a light. And Jesus is that light. You see, don't fight it with fists. He said to me, Mr. Bonnke, you are most welcome to come back. I need no observers because I was the general in charge to put down the riots in Kano 9 years ago. And I saw you there. Although you didn't see me, you were absolutely blameless. Welcome. Wow. I was so glad. I went out, I was introduced to the chief of staff there. Chief of staff, I knew his name immediately. He was that granite wall that kept me out of Nigeria for 9 long years. And he came to me and said, Mr. Bonnke, where have you been for so long? I thought, I didn't say it, but I thought in my heart, you old hypocrite. Here you can have just one call and everything, your whole team, you are most welcome. I went back to Germany. I lived still in Germany at that time. And then 2 months later, we were preparing already to go back. And then 2 months later, lo and behold, I see a newscast saying the president of Nigeria, Sani Abacha, had died of a heart attack. And I was back to square one. No telephone number worked anymore. Oh, I said, it's the devil again. What did I do? I prayed. I took the next plane and went back to President Kerikou in Benin. I said, Mr. President, is the new president in Nigeria also your twin? He said, no, I don't know him, but I meet him this Saturday. I will talk to him about you. I realized this won't work. I said, don't do it. It's far too fresh. I went back to my hotel, and then the phone rang. And somebody said to me, there is a Nigerian general in this hotel. President Kerikou has told him about your presence, and that general would like to meet you. Room number so-and-so. I said, I'm coming. I dressed up and I went down, knocking on the door. There was this big man. Pulled me in. He said, Reverend Bonnke, I read your books, I saw your videos. I'm so happy to meet you. I say, Mr. General, I need a visa. Can you help me with a visa? I told him the whole story. He said, no, you have to go through the government. But he said, in case you're not successful, I give you my cell phone number. And he wrote it on a napkin. I put the napkin right here. Well, the next day, I heard on the radio news that General Obasanjo had decided to run for president in the next elections in Nigeria. I fell on my knees and I started to pray. I said, Lord, let Obasanjo win, and Bonnke is in. He won with 64%, got the number out of my pocket. I dialed the number. Obasanjo speaking. I said, Your Excellency, President-elect, congratulations, when can I come? All with one breath. He said, immediately. I said, I'm on my way. It sounds like a fairy story, but this is exactly how it happened. And then, when we came back, our first crusade in Nigeria, I had no clue how many people would come. I'd be 9 years away, and I walked up those stairs from behind, and I looked. There was a crowd already of 400,000 people.
Thanks for watching these powerful content to the end. Please don't forget to subscribe for more powerful content on this channel.